Subscribe today to RacingAmerica.tv to join our racing community and get access to over 200 live pavement short track races each season from across the U.S. and Canada. Plus, RacingAmerica.tv has exclusive and behind-the-scenes coverage of the NASCAR Cup team.
Enjoy competing with your teammates.
You already know.
Subscribe today and claim additional discounts and access. And your front row seat to watch the excitement and drama.
Car lifts up in the air.
From grassroots to NASCAR, become a subscriber today at the home for race fans everywhere.
You're watching Racing America right here on Racing America.
Racing America. It's in our DNA.
Happy Thirsty Thursday, guys. It is Dirty Air on Racing America and many other spots. Glad you are with me. My name is Rodney Rodriguez. Looking forward to bringing you some great short track racing conversation. Today, coming up on the show, going to talk to JD Bowsher. JD and I are going to go, we're just going to talk some short track racing. That's coming up here in just a little bit. Towards the bottom of the hour, you may want to tune in a little bit earlier. Not sure. The show kind of a work in progress. Really had a light show planned for you guys because obviously you've got the Tar Heel 250 that is set to be rolling off there at Hickory. That you know we're supposed to be getting ready for that right about now, but weather has become an issue with that. Taking a look at that qualifying order, and they did get a Legends race in, obviously in rain delay. You can check that out over on Track TV, and tracktv.com is the place to catch that. But the starting lineup for that Tar Heel 250 that is set to roll off this evening, it is Brent Cruz on the point right there. Fast time 14.224, closely followed by Dawson Sutton, 24 and the 26 on the front row, 14.229. Josh Berry, Gio Ruggiero, and Kyle Stakely. That is the top five as they qualified. The rest of the top 10, Matt Craig, sixth. The Jet Nolan, seventh. Chase Elliott, NASCAR champion, qualifies in eighth. William Sawalich and Connor Jones, that is the top 10 as they qualified for that race. But like I talked about, in rain delay right now as that rolls on. Later in the show as well, I'm going to give you an Indy 500 preview. I know you don't get any kind of IndyCar content on here whatsoever. Once a year, you get it, and you get it today because I'm going to talk about the 500. Just kind of talk about some of the tidbits right there. It's even a bigger deal now because you got Larson in the middle of that. Some of the other notables in there, Cole Butcher, who is, I mean, man's on a roll. I mean, the dude is extremely fast. He qualifies 11th for the race tonight. Bubba Pollard will roll off 12th. Derek Kraus, Casey Roderick will go off 16th. 17th will be Stephen Nassi. And then you've got Caden Quapple, 18th. Austin Nason, 19th. Michael Hine, 20th. Dustin Smith, 21st. Kind of rolling down here, just looking at this, and these are fresh off the press right here, so pardon me while I stumble around with my words here. Jackson Boone, 22nd. Let's kind of go through here. 25 cars. Billy Van Meter, 23rd. Connor Okresick, the last car, 25th on the starting grid. But again, all of that is in rain delay right now as I tell you, it just seems to be the tail of the tape right now with what's going on. Obviously, the Cars Tour at Wilkesboro last weekend, and here we are again. So this is what happens when you're doing a live show. The old Who Wants to Be a Millionaire thing. Of course, in racing, nobody's a millionaire. But what I did today, I phoned a friend as this thing was going on. So a little bit of a change right here in what I plan to do. We're going live to Hickory right now to get a weather update and just an update on things that are going on. And we welcome in my good friend, my lady, Gina Shile Knowles from Track Enterprises, live from Hickory. Gina, you got your poncho on, my lady.
I do, Rodney. I'm sitting under a tent watching it pour, unfortunately.
Oh, man. So was this planned? Not was this planned. I mean, was this in the forecast? I had kind of been trying to keep along with everything that was going on over there, but this kind of seemed like it snuck up a little bit.
Yes, and it wasn't in the forecast most of the week, and then all of a sudden, of course, a couple days ago, you had a little 40 percenter that they said would just float over, and well, I think it decided to park
Oh,
right above us.
oh man, I tell you, that's that's kind of the crappy part right there. Is that when you have everything in line right there, and then of course, like I was talking, last week at Wilkes, with the car store. I mean, same thing. So,
Yes.
what's kind of the activity right now? I know that there are jet dryers and so forth there that Bob Sargent has brought in. What's kind of the feel right now?
Well, it was good. It was really good. We were feeling good. It stopped raining, and I could see the edge of the storm, and now it started raining again, and they're still trying to dry it, and they're going around the track, but it's raining pretty hard, so it's probably delayed a little bit longer.
Yeah, yeah. Just kind of opportunities there. Looking at weather forecasts, of course, everybody has a weather app. That's my new joke. Any chance? Any chance of a window there if this thing lits up? I mean, I think kind of the crappy part is it lits up and then it starts again. What's kind of the take on what may happen there?
Well, it looks like we will have a window, but there's some coming behind it. We're just not sure if we could get it moving. It seems to be moving slow, which
Mm,
makes it produce more rain.
I know. That's a bad part.
We know how it is in Texas. You get the heat, and it was a very hot day. It was a beautiful day, actually. And it just got hot. And you know what happens in the afternoon when
Mhm.
it's been hot all day?
Yeah, yeah, just kind of pours. Um,
Yes.
any thoughts there? I mean, obviously Hickory, the surface, very weathered. Bad pun right there, probably. But if you get a lot of rain in there, then you're going to have some weeping and all this other stuff. But hopefully everyone optimistic that this happens.
Yes. We are very optimistic. We're hoping it's going to clear up. Like right now, it's just a little bit of rain. It's slowing down,
Yeah.
but I don't see any clear skies yet.
Well, it'll come.
Yeah,
It'll come.
I hope so. I hope it clears up because man, we have a great crowd. We have a lot of good things going on. We got Chase Elliott here. We have Josh Berry here. I think what Josh qualified third.
Mhm.
I think. I mean, these guys are on top of each other on the times, and it looks like some great racing.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt about it. And kind of with that, Gina, it really looks like, I mean, with Cruz on the pole there, I kind of went through the top 10 and just different things right there. Looks like a pretty loaded field. This definitely is something I'm sure that you guys want to get in tonight. Is there, I mean, and this is way early, I know with Cars Tour, they had to just like postpone it. Any thoughts what may happen if it can't get done today? I hate to even mention that.
No, that's one of those
I
things
love,
you don't
I
talk
love, I
about.
love the silence. I love the silence. It's like there's that Gina Shile knows promoter thing. Like when I'd call you at Mobile, Gina, are we going to cancel? And it was always,
I don't miss that stress. It is stressful, the rain, but it's a whole different kind of stress when it's not coming out of your pocket.
oh, for sure, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, but man, I see Bob when I walk around, and we've been working so hard here. I was at Kannapolis this morning for Dale Earnhardt Senior, festival,
Hmm.
handing out flyers, and man, I just hate it. It was beautiful, and I come over here, and here come the clouds.
Mm,
That's just not a fun thing,
no.
and we had some great things going. So we'll see. We'll wait it out and see what we can do. But right now, it just doesn't look very good.
Mm, okay. Well, we'll definitely stay on top of it the duration of this show and kind of keep folks in tune with what may be going on. As always, thank you for not only being a great friend, but for hopping in here and giving us live boots on the ground stuff. Just good stuff. Keep working it, and hopefully everything works out tonight.
Well, thank you, Rodney. It's good talking to you.
You too, girl. Take care.
All right, bye.
You bet. There she goes, Gina Shile Knowles, and that is a live update right there from Hickory Motor Speedway. It was one of those things, and that's how funny, or not how funny, but that's it's funny how quick the weather can turn right there. Because when I did talk with her, we kind of text back and forth trying to get this put together for her to dive on for a few minutes right there as she's working. It was one of those things to where I think it was probably about 30 minutes ago when we figured that we would be able to try to put this together. That window was there. And I think that, again, right there, as you hear her talking, that maybe that window is slowly closing. But again, Track TV is the place to go, tracktv.com. That's going to be the spot for that race tonight. Hopefully all of that shakes out and we get to have the Tar Heel 250. Again, that starting lineup is going to be Brent Cruz leading them to the point. Dawson Sutton, Josh Berry, Gio Ruggiero, Kyle Stakely, Matt Craig, Jet Nolan, Chase Elliott, William Sawalich, Connor Jones. That is your top 10. From 10 on down, Cole Butcher 11th, followed by Bubba Pollard, Derek Kraus, Cody Connor, Gavin Boschel, KC Roderick 16th, 17th, Stephen Nasi, Caden Quapple, Austin Nason, Michael Hine 20th, Dustin Smith, Jackson Boone, Billy Van Meter, Justin Kreider, Connor O'Kresick. That is the starting lineup that is set for the Tar Heel 250 happening at Hickory. Let me give you an idea how tight this field is, where she was talking about the massive field and the competitors that they have there. That fast time that I talked about with Brent Cruz, 14.224, and the car that's going to be shotgun on the field, the O'Kresick car, 14.586. So that right there tells you how tight that field is when they do take the green flag. And as optimistic as we all are as short track folks, they will take the green flag tonight. So great boots on the ground update from Gina Shaw-Knowles as she checks in from Hickory Motor Speedway. As I said on the show, coming up, it's going to be J.D. Bowsher and I going back and forth, going to talk some short track racing, the state of short track racing, as we are at the halfway point or so. So we'll kind of give our thoughts on all of that. And then later on in the show, I'll get you an Indy 500 preview, kind of my thoughts on that. And we'll get you ready for Memorial Day weekend, as that is coming up. I do want to mention here in Texas, a lot of Texas friends, one of our great, just a good Texas racer, Jamie Campbell, in a very, I may have mentioned, no, I didn't, because this show wasn't on last week. So Jamie Campbell, a great longtime racer in the state of Texas, a very unfortunate automobile accident with his daughter a couple of weeks back. And thank goodness his daughter in a very good place where she has been released and well. But for Jamie, a great friend of mine, a great friend of many people in the state of Texas as a short track racer, whether it be asphalt or pavement. He is not in a very good situation, but he continues to hang in there, as Jamie always does. He is fighting his ass off, but still remains in not the best of situations. So all of the thoughts there to the family of Jamie Campbell as we get set. I'm going to be working a big 2-day show at the South Texas Race Ranch in Corpus Christi. We're going to be doing the Pass the Helmet, and we're going to be doing a lot of things to help his family, because when it all comes down to it, we can sit here. Rain at Hickory is a minor setback when it comes to family members with folks in very, very dire straits. And that's something that you always, it's a gut punch when that happens. Stick around. JD and I, the Dirty Girl, we're going to get after it and talk about short track racing to this point. All that and more. Clean air is good. Times like this, dirty air a tad bit better. It is Thirsty Thursday. Dirty air right here on Racing America. Stick around, friends.
Hooters and racing go together like killer wings and ice-cold beer. Racing has been at the core of Hooters' DNA from the beginning. Whether it's backing the best drivers or serving up the best food on race day, race fans know Hooters is the real deal. Big screens, great food, good times. Hooters, the official home of race fans.
Presented by 317 Awards. Custom awards and trophies for all types of events and occasions. Plaques, custom trophies, custom laser engraving, custom laser cutting, custom vinyl work, banners, and more. It's 317 Awards. When you've got an award to give, you might as well give it with pride and get it from the best in the business. Check out 317 Awards.
So I went in and I said, you know what? Let's bring somebody in that's going to break down some short track racing with me, where we can kind of just talk about what we've seen to this point. And I went and I found one of my favorite people. So
Oh,
welcome back.
thanks for
Welcome back.
having me, Rodney. I'm glad I'm not, on your bad list.
No,
I get on
absolutely.
those frequently.
Well, no. Well, so am I. So am I.
Well,
People
that's
say
perfect.
people tell me you talk too much, and I don't give a damn what you say. And I'm like, that's okay. You just keep watching. So
That's right.
that's why I think you and I get along so famously.
Yes.
Let's welcome back to Dirty Air here on your Thursday. It is my friend JD Bowsher. JD, what in the hell have you been up to, my friend?
Oh gosh, I've been all over the place. I've been going racing. I got a new puppy, so I've been kind of
Oh,
busy.
no, that's excellent. Puppies, man. That I've got one on the VIP couch over here. I've got another one laying out there. So it's I like to call them the executive producers of this
Yes.
at times shit show. But anyway, so in the racing sense, what so are you like actively involved in series, or have you kind of taken a step back and just kind of laughing at everybody?
Well, I'm not like in a series this year. Like I'm not with a sanctioning body or anything. I'm kind of like just taking a step back, and I just kind of go when people are remotely close and just go hang out and kind of cover some stuff. So that's been fun, which is, I get to just go hang out and talk to people, and that's just a blast, which I love to do. So that's kind of what I've been doing. I'm not going to be able to make it to to Hickory tonight or to Tri-County on Saturday because I'm on vacation. But I know.
Sorry.
Well, my boyfriend wanted to go out of town. I was like, I can't say no and be like, oh, I'm going to go racing without you. So here we are.
Exactly. I do want to ask you. I thought it was kind of a little bit of a letdown last week. Obviously, you had the All-Star race and all that drama that you had there at North Wilkesboro, but I was really looking forward to the Cars Tour and everything that was going to happen at Wilkesboro. That kind of sucked that all that got washed out.
Yeah, it really did. I mean, the Cars Tour got a lot of rain, not as much as they did, the following days. But yeah, it really sucked. I was really excited to see them race on the new pavement. And they don't have to worry about tire wear. So that was really going to change the format, I felt like, a little bit. So I was pretty disappointed myself. But I'm really happy to see Butterbean. He got to do good in the truck race. He finished 4th overall. Huge strides for short track racing, just in general. So that was exciting to watch. So at least we got to see something cool last weekend, other than, a few punches thrown.
Yeah, one or two. Kind of right there where you mentioned Butterbean, and again, we've got so many guys. I mean, I say that we have guys and ladies that do this, and the stuff that we cover. To where, sorry for the dogs. Welcome to this. When they get that opportunity, it's really cool to see them go off and do things on a big stage.
Yeah, I really, really, really enjoyed it. I really like Butterbean. If you've never gotten the chance to meet him, he's just a great human being. He's so positive. He's so friendly. I just can't say enough good things about him. He's always very polite. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. And of course, he's with Lee Pulliam. And of course, Lee is like late model stock racing legend. And he's a great guy. So I was really happy to see Butterbean go get in that truck, do well, outdrive a lot of those guys that are paying buku bucks to be there. Yeah. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it. Him and Bubba Pollard being in that Busch race, that was the coolest things I've seen so far this year. Short track racing is where it's at. And the fact that there's people are saying, hey, what's going on over here? Giving these guys a chance, it's awesome. I can't say enough for it. I'd love to see more of it. Yes, I know money dictates this industry, but if you want real racing, you want to pull in a lot of viewers, this is what you need to do. You need to get these guys.
Yeah, and it really does seem like each and every time that these guys get an opportunity like that. I mean, because even with coverage, I mean, I know that we can say a lot about regional or national broadcast coverage and all that. It seems like it's hit them to hone in and kind of talk about Bubba's history and Butterbean's history and these guys, and like with. Down here in Texas, we've got Caden Honeycutt and these guys that are just exceptional at what they do. I mean, those folks. It's just really cool to see that I think enough of that and that reach is finally going to get people to get them back to us, because this is kind of home base, boots on the ground stuff that we do.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you go to a Cars Tour race, Cars Tour ASA, their stands are packed.
Yeah.
So people are really taking notice, and it's really starting to pick up momentum. But with that being said, cost is also going up. You're getting more renter rides. And the problem with that is you're outspending yourself here. So then it's like, well, I can't even go afford to run a late model stock. What am I going to do? Well, then that's when I feel like street stocks have taken over a little bit there. Street stocks are the new late models. ASA and cars are the new ARCA.
Mhm.
And if you've had Boo on the show, and his series at the Stars, what is it? The Stars Super Stock Tour is what it's called.
Yeah.
They put on some excellent shows, and it's a really affordable series. I think it's really a great thing. And so I'm really seeing short track racing come back to life with that a lot more. You see a lot more street stocks at races. You see a lot more, bombers, 4-cylinders. So people are really starting to come back out again. I feel like after a couple of years, I feel like it was kind of like, not as many cars. It's starting to pick back up, and I like to see that.
Oh, JD, you're going to get me started on a Thirsty Thursday. I think that those classes are so important because, like, when you look at pro late models and super late models and all that, I mean, I have so many people, whether it's and I see it on dirt tracks as well, to where it's like those cars all look alike.
Yep.
And I think on pavement, when you get the steel bodied street stock, super stock, whatever the hell you want to call it, when you have that, I mean, not only does it probably produce the better race, but it's something that people can actually relate to. It's like, hey, now that's a stock car, because they don't really see these cars now as stock cars, and they're not.
They're not street cars anymore. They're not.
Yeah. So those steel bodied Monte Carlos and Camaros and all that, they're so important right now, I think.
Yeah, and I think it was last year I was at Tri-County, and Boo's series was there racing where and I was there too. There were some nice, and I mean some nice street stocks there. And I was like, dang, that looks good. I was like, holler at me. So
Yeah.
I really like the street stocks picking up right now. I'm a big fan. And yeah, you go and you can't see those cars on the street anymore. And I feel like that kind of takes away a little bit. I mean, I feel like the cup cars and stuff, I think they're atrocious. They're not race cars to me. But if you go down to the street stocks, they still are. So I like that.
Well, they sound like race cars. I mean,
They
that's
still do. Yeah.
right. That's the other part of it. I know the term throaty. Well, I say throaty, and people are like, "That's gross," and I'm like, "No, that's
Not that
badass."
kind of wording, okay?
Yeah. That's what that is. So I'd love your thoughts on this, because like here, and I mean, we see it in Alabama and like at Pensacola, to where you've got like modifieds, the modifieds with the 8-inch tire, that sort of modified, and the trucks, man, they're really starting to lack. And I know in Texas, as we've tried to get Houston rolling once again, I mean, we just can't really get a grip on that. Are there divisions there where you are there in North Carolina? Are there divisions like that struggle, or is that something that's just kind of happening, along the East Coast right here, or what we would call the coastal boundary?
Well, I know I've seen at several tracks. There's no like division for trucks, like a little one. Like I know ARCA used to have the Lincoln Welder Truck Series. That's now gone. But for some reason, when it comes to short track racing, the trucks don't pick up. And I'm not quite sure, because I enjoy them. I did see, it was last year at New River. They had a super truck race, and it was 3 trucks. It was Chris Burns and 2 other guys. And it was one of the best races I've ever seen. So I don't know why people are sleeping on the trucks, but y'all need to come bring your trucks and come out and race, because that's a lot of fun. I would like to get in one.
Oh man, those are a lot of fun, because they usually they're restricted on engine. I mean, so it comes down to where it's actually in the seat and the pedal. I mean, you have to do that. So let's kind of talk about pro and supers. I mean, I kind of mentioned them, not to cast any shade at them, but your thoughts, what we've seen from them this year. It seems like with Southern Super Series and ASA, of course, ASA tonight at Hickory. And then with Ricky's group, I mean, I mean, I don't want to say that they're getting along, but it seems like they're trying to get along. Just to kind of try to grow it, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the pro late, I feel like when it comes to just late models in general, it depends on where you live. It is so about your region. Like where I come from in Ohio, it's super late models. Down here, it's late model stocks. And you go to Alabama, and they're all about the pro late models. You got the Show Me the Money pro late models that always run at Montgomery. So it just kind of depends on where you're at. I feel like for that to pick up, I see all of it growing. The only thing I don't like about a lot of like the touring pro series is I feel like a lot of the drivers are just a bunch of rich kids and they just go out there and tear their stuff up. And
Sorry.
I hate to see that. I come from a family that had a race team. Like when something got ruined, my dad, my uncles, my mom were out in the shop fixing it. I know how much it costs. I know how much work goes in. And for somebody to go tear that up, it infuriates me beyond all belief. So that's like really the only problem I have with a lot of touring pro series. But I'll leave that there.
Yeah. Well, and that was a thing when we were at Mobile with Gulf Coast. We really made an effort to try to get pro late models out there. Let them run a 30 or 40 lap feature. I mean, it wasn't what you see at these tracks. And what we found was it blew up. 15 cars of guys and ladies that maybe
Yep.
you don't see them running at the front at the Snowflake and all these different whatevers and show me the money. They just wanted to run regular stuff. And I think that would be really good for pro, especially with the kids.
Yes.
They need to learn how to damn drive these things, I think.
That's the problem. They're throwing them into these cars and they don't have the seat time to do it. And then you're out there and, you're like, oh, I'm fast. I don't know how to handle this car. It feels different. And then, you're, driving in way too deep, wrecking yourself, 3 people behind you. And it's just all hell breaks loose. So they're a weekly pro deal at a lot of places. I think would be a huge, great thing for this entire industry. I think it would save people a lot of money in the long run.
I agree. And that really worked well over there. And we felt horrible because we couldn't pay them much. But it was like what we got from the drivers is they would come out and it's like, look, I just need to learn how to drive this stupid thing,
Right.
On a fast track. And it
It's
was
all about seat time. You have to have the seat time and the experience. There's no substitute for it. You can put you can go out in the fastest thing in the world, but if you don't know how to drive that car, you're going to wad it up. You really want to back it in all the way to the rear windshield. They need the seat time. It's a great idea. That absolutely needs to happen. I agree.
I totally buy into that. JD, you mentioned right there, I mean, with your family, and I mean, obviously anybody that's watching this knows your family and the history of you guys, or if they don't, they have some idea of it. When I raced, it was my dad, my uncle, and I, and we did it like what you're talking about. I mean, if stuff got tore up, you had to be conservative sometimes to not wad your stuff up. So in your opinion, what is the path? I mean, because the money part is hard because money
Yes.
talks and the bullshit walks.
Yep.
But if there was like an ideal path for somebody to get to a pro or even an outlaw late model or sportsman, whatever you want to call it. I know the quarter midget thing is big.
It's huge here. Yeah.
Yeah, the ideal path for you to get into one of those cars, if we took the money part out.
If we took the money part out, I mean, obviously you need to start in this day and age as young as possible. You need to be like 4 years old out there in a go-kart, move up to, your quarter midgets. Outlaw karts are big here with Millbridge Speedway. Everybody and their mother comes from there. The Quapple Boys, Max McLaughlin, they all ran out there. Just keep moving up. And but here's the thing. People move up too fast. If you are out there running whatever and you haven't even won a race in whatever division you're running, you damn sure don't need to be moving up a series because you can't even master that. So if you can't master that, how do you think you're going to go out there and run against somebody that's got 10 years experience on you? You're not.
Yeah.
So I think that's the big thing. You need to master what you're running before you move up. And they're moving kids up too fast. And you've seen the Cup drivers complain about it. You got these kids in there renting their rides out in Bush or whatever it is they're running, and they're tearing stuff up. Why? Because daddy's a billionaire and he paid for you to go and you don't have any seat time and you don't actually know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And again, I know a lot of that is inevitable. I mean, just with other factors and so forth, but it's God, it drives me crazy. One of the things that I talk about on this show and then on the Texas show as well is talking about promoters and so forth. It's a very hard time for them right now. I mean, just with everything. I mean, simple stuff. I mean, it's not simple, but as easy as like having to delay a race, having to cancel something. I mean, people never put the promoter hat on, but yet again, everybody puts a promoter hat on and they have no idea how to do that or what's involved. Kind of talk about that part.
I feel so bad for promoters, and I see this all the time, obviously, because I know people all over, and everybody has an opinion of how to run the racetrack, but nobody actually knows how to run the racetrack. They don't know what it actually takes. You're pissed off because they canceled a race a week before because you know it's going to get rained out. Why would you want to drive there and waste your money as a fan? And those teams can't afford that. So and people need to take that into consideration. There's more that goes on than just what you're seeing. There are thousands of factors involved, and people need to really pump their brakes. And the track bashing online, that needs to go, because I'm here to tell you now, tracks are closing up left and right. And if they keep complaining, people are going to keep closing them up, and we're not going to have anywhere to go, and we're going to be in somebody's backyard. People need to chill with the promoters. They're literally doing the best they can. Unless somebody does something completely shysty to somebody, there is no need for that. It is unnecessary.
Yeah, there are really bad people that have attempted to operate racetracks that do really shady shit, and like you're talking about right there. But most of these people, and I know that folks are like, oh, well, they're making money and all this, but they have no idea.
They are not making money. I don't know what parallel universe people are living in, but to operate a racetrack is extremely expensive. I mean, there are so many things involved that just cost, you'll nickel and dime yourself to death. I mean, and with the economy, heck, your hot hamburger buns cost way more than they used to, people. So you really need to take that into consideration. There's so many things going on that you don't see.
And I'm glad you mentioned about the buns, because I was talking to a guy on the Texas show a couple of weeks ago that I had him on that Monday because I was going to break down his race that he was supposed to have that weekend. It got washed out in North Texas. And he comes on and he was very matter of fact with everything, because this came up. And he's like, I lost my ass. He said, and he said, I didn't have to pay a purse. I didn't have to turn the lights on. The rent is still due. I'll be able to make that. But he started listing off weenies, meat buns, nacho chips, that shit cheese in a can. Yep. And he's giving me itemized stuff. And I'm like, people have no idea about that. It's a loss.
Insurance,
it's a loss.
Power, internet, everything costs more. They are not making money. I think your local short track is making a killing. You are very sadly mistaken.
Yes, very much a labor of love for anyone that attempts to operate one of these places. You mentioned there about Cup the other day, and I know your thoughts on Cup. Let's talk about the Wilkesboro thing. I mean, I think a lot of folks are forgetting Logano had a lot of tire testing time on that track.
Yes, he did. A lot of people went and tested tires a couple months ago, and yes, he was one of them. So he had the seat time on the new track. People don't think that, but yes, he had more time on there than most of those people.
And kind of to your point about this car is not designed to do that. This car is designed to do other things. It's and I think that's the biggest problem with all of that, is it's just not a very conducive race car to what we're trying to get it to do.
No, I'm not a fan of this car for a multitude of reasons. I haven't been a fan since they came out with the next gen in 2006 or whatever. And it's just progressively gotten worse as far as I'm concerned. These cars are not designed for this. I don't know what engineer they got with, but they need to go back to the drawing board as far as I'm concerned.
And that's the frustrating part, because there is, I know they have their prototype cars. It's like, go do some things here and figure that out. So the aftermath, and then the aftermath after the aftermath. You had it made for great TV. It made for great stories. I mean, I do sports radio during the day. We talked about it on football shows and baseball shows. You had all of that, and then on Thursday it goes down where Ricky's getting fined and everything. It's like, what are we trying to do here?
That's a little excessive. There's no need for that.
I agree, and it's like
no need.
And JD, the footage is everywhere. You look at those social channels, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
The amount of coverage they've gotten, like, they should have told him just to keep his money. He punched the guy. He didn't do $75,000 is ridiculous. Like, it's a racetrack fist fight. They need to calm down with that. They're fine crazy. And to suspend his dad indefinitely, I've been in worse brawls at the racetrack. Come on now, like that's unnecessary. Let's get it together.
Yeah, I know. It's baffling, some of the stuff I see. I mean, there are some things where I'm like, okay, that's great, but that one there, it just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
But so for you, so you're nothing racing related this weekend, right? You're
Nothing this week. No, I'm taking the week off. We're in the mountains. I'm relaxing. You are the only business I've done this week, so you're special.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Rest of the year, what you have on tap? Anything that kind of stands out?
Not off the top of my head. Obviously, Cars Tour Throwback Race, always a must go. Definitely going to head out to Caraway a few times. Going to go make it back to New River. So I'll be around. So if you're in the Carolinas at a short track race and you got a touring series, look around. I might be there. Come say hey. I'm always down to talk.
It'll be the pretty blonde lady in the pits. She's easy to spot. Go see her there. JD, this is fun. I mean, we've done this for 20 minutes, and it seems like we just jumped on this thing. But man, this has been a blast. Thank you for doing that. Thoughts on Hickory? So we've got weather permitting. I don't exactly know what's going on.
It's good. It's weather's good. There's a lot of big names, right? I mean, even Chase Elliott's listed. So. I will say, I mean, Bubba's there, obviously, but Cole Butcher's hard to beat, I feel like. I feel like he's really good there. He won at, what was it, 5 Flags, I believe it was, earlier this year with them. So I'm going to put my money on Cole Butcher for this week at Hickory.
It's a good pick. It's a very good pick. Dude is very hard to beat, and he is in the best equipment that you're going to find.
Yes, he is.
That is for sure. There we go back to the money thing. That is very, very important.
It is.
As always, a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you.
Dirty girl, I'll say it. She has given me the okay. I can say that. So
that's fine. We can get T-shirts made. It's fine.
I think that would be really, really cool.
V-neck, tight. I got you.
Because I try to give away the ones with that face on it, and they're like, I don't want that. So perhaps your face would be much better.
We'll get together. We'll get some marketing ideas going.
I think we should. I think we should. Enjoy the mountains, relax, and I know we'll do this again very, very soon.
Yes, soon. Yes, let's do it.
Absolutely. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.
You bet. See you later.
Rogers Dab Chevrolet was just a regular car dealership here in Brandon, Mississippi, and about 10 years ago we started branching off with our parts department, and we became one of the top 3 largest parts departments for powertrain, for engines and transmissions in the country. So in doing so, why not support the industry that supports the most powertrain, which is your performance engines and racing? And there's a need there that was not being filled. There was a customer base that was not being taken care of.
We keep the sealed crate motors in stock, the 602, the 604s, the 525s. But whether you're driving a late model or a modified or a street stock, we've got an engine for your car. We also carry the accessory kits, KRC drives. We also do Gary Williams carburetors. We've been in this for a couple of years now, and we're doing it to benefit the racers.
Everyone is trying to get into racing, knows that it's not a cheap sport to get into. So price structure was a big thing in taking care of the racers, and we knew early on that we did not want to make this a profit center. We wanted to make it about the racers. Price is a big thing. However, customer service is where it's at. And we've had several instances where racetracks have called us and said, hey, we had a driver out here qualifying and their engine popped. And it's Friday night at 9 o'clock. And our team, Benny and Ryan, are calling me and saying, hey, boss, we need to take care of this race car driver. Let's get them an engine as soon as possible. And they'll be here before sunrise the next morning on Saturday morning, pulling that engine, getting it to that person so they can get it installed and be racing that night. That's the kind of customer service we want to deliver.
Hooters and racing go together like killer wings and ice-cold beer. Racing has been at the core of Hooters' DNA from the beginning. Whether it's backing the best drivers or serving up the best food on race day, race fans know Hooters is the real deal. Big screens, great food, good times. Hooters. the official home of race fans.
Roots Racing Fix. Saturday, the Walls Platinum Series begins at White Mountain, along with Super Late Models at Oxford Plains, UARA Sportsman at Cordele, and the Big O Classic at Owasso, ROC Modifieds at Wyoming County, Show Me the Money Pro Late Models at Montgomery, and more. And on Sunday, the Coastal 200 goes green from Wiscasset, along with CRA Late Model Sportsman at Corrigan Oil, and Matinee Super Late Model action from Slinger. Catch it all this weekend on Racing America.
Subscribe today to RacingAmerica.tv to join our racing community and get access to over 200 live pavement short track races each season from across the U.S. and Canada. Plus, RacingAmerica.tv has exclusive and behind-the-scenes coverage of the NASCAR Cup teams.
Enjoy competing with your teammates.
We already know.
Subscribe today and claim additional discounts and access. And your front row seat to watch the excitement and drama.
Car lifts up in the air.
From grassroots to NASCAR, become a subscriber today at the home for race fans everywhere.
You're watching Racing America right here on Racing America.
Racing America. It's in our DNA.
Great conversation right there as we had with J.D. Bowsher. Checking in there as she and I just kind of going back and forth and going to try to maybe add that as more of a regular segment there that she and I can just kind of talk about, what it is in short track racing. Obviously, JD with her family, very well versed in everything and kind of her thoughts there. I mean, you can tell that with because it was a family operation that she was a part of and that she grew up with. And that's what a lot of us have done. So I always love talking with her. It's just some really good stuff. All right, guys, as we get ready to wind this one down, and I do want to mention that kind of checking in at Hickory, no updates. I've been kind of trolling around social media, and there's not really anything there. So that would lead me to believe that we're still kind of in that factor right there that Gina was talking about, where we've got, weather maybe not the most conducive and not cooperating with what the plan is tonight. Again, Brent Cruz on the point and Dawson Sutton, Josh Berry, Gio Ruggiero, and Kyle Stakely. That's your top five as hopefully they get that race in tonight at Hickory. But I do want to touch on, because you saw right there talking about, obviously, lots of great short track racing that you're going to find, and a lot of it right here on Racing America. So talking about those things that you have. But I got to tell you guys, I've mentioned this before. To me, I'm a short track guy. And one of these days, I'll pull a live video here on Dirty Air of just kind of everything that I have here. I've got, I've got trophies that I've won. And again, I didn't burn the house down as a car racer. I was fortunate to win a lot of races. But, I never won track championships. I never won, I never won anything, a big, $1,500 to win. I never won anything like that. But, man, I had a lot of cool race cars and so forth. And one of these days, pardon the dog again. My God, things are going live. But anyway, I'll share that one day. But to me, this weekend, talking about all the racing that we have there on Racing America and all the different stuff. I talked about going to Corpus. To me, the biggest race of them all. I mean, I absolutely love the Indianapolis 500. And I think a lot of that really stems back to back in the days when that race used to be, and again, showing my age here, I'm a little gray in the beard and so forth. But man, back when that was a Sunday night race, remember they would run that back before the days of social media and live racing and flag to flag and all the stuff that we have now. And it's when I think about this now with the ever evolving coverage of racing, the fact that I'm able to do Thirsty Thursday and Dirty Air online, and I've got, hundreds of even thousands of people that check into this on multiple platforms, that the Indianapolis 500 used to be a tape delayed race that you would have to catch in a 3-hour window. Back like wide world of sports when they would do the little increments there of NASCAR races and so forth. But that was a 7 p.m. Central, 8 o'clock Eastern time race where you would go in and catch that race, and it was pretty much flag to flag, but it was produced. I mean, the race happened early in the day, and you had no idea who won that. And it's I think a lot of that was because that's where, like talking to JD, where racing is a family thing. That's what my family and I did on a Sunday on Memorial Day weekend. We sat around the TV and we watched the Indy 500. And I think that's why this race, still resonates so importantly to me as biggest race of them all, guys. And so, kind of talking about what we're dealing with Sunday, and of course, the storylines now are only developing more because, on account of, as we say around here, that weather is going to be an issue there too. For crying out loud, sitting here trying to figure out what's going on at Hickory. Here's how I kind of do things, and I asked about Hickory, and it said the weather was going to be good. JD talked about that, and Gina mentioned there in her live hit that it's maybe not so good. But Indianapolis, the weather is going to be an issue. So the question is going to be, there's a lot of grip on this race because of Kyle Larson. He is, I think, of all the folks that have done the double, and Tony Stewart, probably the one more relevant to me of folks that have done this would be the one that really had the opportunity that could conceivably win both races. Guys, I really think Kyle Larson could win both of these races if everything goes off in a timely manner. But I don't think that things are going to go off in a timely manner. But what I do hope happens is that Larson runs the 500. And I'm going to go ahead and throw this out there right now. I'm going to throw that arrow out. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to do that. But I'm hoping that there's a way that Larson, if there is a rain delay, that he's able to stay in Indianapolis and run that race without it affecting anything on the NASCAR side. We've seen waivers. We've seen all these different things to where guys are able to go ahead and I just think it's good business that Larson gets to run this race if indeed there is going to be a weather issue. And, I've heard some other circumstances of people flying in to Charlotte for this race at the 600 that's only going to magnify his ability to get there. So I just want Larson to run this race because I think it's going to be something pretty special because he has been really, really good at Indianapolis in a very quick manner. So let's take a look at this Indy 500 lineup. And I'm going to have to put these glasses on because I printed this and it's very small. All Penske front row. So you've got McLaughlin, Will Power, and Joseph Newgarden. A couple of winners there on the front row. You've got the Yellow Submarine. And what can you say about Penske? They have been so fast. It is the fastest time ever that we've ever seen up at the front, 2:34.220. That's awful fast. If you've ever been to Indianapolis, that is a flat-ass racetrack, and these guys are humming these things around there. And it's really amazing to me that they're able to do what they do. Row number 2, Alexander Rossi, Kyle Larson. The dude qualified fifth. And Santino Ferrucci. You know what I like about Santino Ferrucci? The fact that he is driving the AJ Foyt Racing number 14. So just what I'm talking about right here. And that's only the 6 starters. That's 6. That's the first 2 rows. The stories. Penske, 1, 2, 3. Larson, AJ Foyt Racing in the top 6. AJ won this race 4 times. He could be the number 5. There's another dude in this race that is in the chase for 5. I would be really, really glad if AJ Foyt Racing won this race because that would be number 5, in my opinion. All right, back to this. Rinus VeeKay totaled a car out. Didn't even practice on Sunday. Here he is, sitting on the inside position number 7. Pato O'Ward, good dude. San Antonio guy from Monterrey, Mexico. One of those dudes that when IndyCar started evolving and doing the things that IndyCar has the best roster that I've seen in a lot of different series, and I just wish that they would capitalize on things. But O'Ward and the dude starting to the outside of him, Felix Rosenquist, just great talents. Starting 10th, Takuma Sato. Probably the quietest two-time winner of the Indianapolis 500 that you will ever see. A lot of folks have won this race. Taku's won it twice, and he does not run full-time. And here he is once again in the middle of the mix as we get set for the 500. And on top of that, the qualifying run that he made over the weekend to get him into the top 12, unbelievable. You want to talk about short track guys going balls to the wall? Taku, at about 230 some odd miles an hour, did that. Sato, Kyle Kirkwood, another one of those guys floating under the radar a little bit. Ryan Hunter-Reay. Remember that guy? Dude is a badass. Doesn't have a regular ride. He is driving for a one-off team, and somehow he punched a ticket and put himself into the top 12. These stories are the Indianapolis 500. That's what makes this race so great. I'm telling you guys, we sit here and we talk about short track racing and NASCAR and all these different things. The Indy 500 makes things just unbelievable. Colton Herta, Alex Palou, Callum Ilott, what is that? Row number 5, row 6, Armstrong, Eddie Carpenter. This dude keeps showing up all the time. Ed Carpenter. The month of May, this dude is right there in the middle of everything. And then Simpson, Marco Andretti. Oh, yeah. 20th. Elio Castroneves. Could that be the dude? Could Elio be the guy that eclipses AJ Foyt, Rick Mears, could this be the guy? Could Elio get this done again? He, older gentleman that finds a way to be a part of everything happening in the month of May. Could it happen? Could be Elio, the drive for 5. I would have no problem with that dude doing that. Oh, by the way, outside of him, Scott Dixon. Next row. Canapino, young dude out of Argentina. Stingray Robb. And then Rasmussen. Young. You've got that loaded row before them, and then you go to the young dudes that are all sitting right there. Lundqvist, Roman Grosjean, and then Lundqvist, Christian Lundgaard, Connor Daly, Fittipaldi, and then the final row, the folks that got in on time right there. It is Catherine Legg, Marcus Ericsson, and Graham Rahal. Ericsson. Guy's last 2 races for Marcus Ericsson. He won the damn thing 2 years ago. Finished second last year and barely got in by the skin of his teeth this year. And this is where Indy is so cool, because it's like back in the day when I was talking about, back when it was, a primetime thing. You had bump day and all of that when you had 50 cars and all of that. There was always a drama, and the qualifying that you see at Indianapolis is so cool because it's different from everything else. You had 34 cars this year, and yet we still had, coming down on Sunday, the bumping process came down to that. And you got a young dude that got left out. You got a young dude that got left out that drove his balls off to try to get into the race. And I was, I had a guy that reached out to me on social media when I was talking about that young dude that got left out. And he's like, well, you wrecked 2 cars. The wreck on Friday, one of those things. The wreck on Sunday, doing what you short track guys do. Driving as hard as he could to try to get into the Indianapolis 500. Last dude on the grid, Graham Rahal. What's that tell you about that? This is going to be a fun race to watch. I know a lot of the eyeballs on it are going to be what happens with Larson. That's really going to be the coolest part. Again, tune into the Indy 500. Let's see what happens there. The greatest race in the world, the greatest spectacle in racing. Before I sign out of here one final time tonight, how about a reminder of everything, and there's a lot of it, happening this weekend on Racing America.
Roots Racing Fix. Saturday, the Walls Platinum Series begins at White Mountain, along with super late models at Oxford Plains, UARA Sportsman at Cordele, and the Big O Classic at Owasso. ROC Modifieds at Wyoming County, Show Me the Money Pro Late Models at Montgomery, and more. And on Sunday, the Coastal 200 goes green from Wiscasset, along with CRA Late Model Sportsman at Corrigan Oil, and Matinee Super Late Model action from Slinger.
Catch it all this weekend on Racing America. Yes, indeed. Good stuff. Final thoughts as we close out the pre-Memorial Day Dirty Air right here. And once again, thanks to J.D. Bowsher for jumping on, and Gina Shile-Knowles for checking in from Hickory. Again, no updates there from Hickory. They're just kind of trying to wait this thing out and hoping they get a window in there so they can get the Tar Heel 250 in this evening. Again, that's over on Track TV. 2025 Hall of Fame class is all said and done. It's going to be from the modern day era. Ricky Rudd, man. Ricky Rudd, I think the one thing that comes to mind when you think of Ricky Rudd, it's, back there in 84, after the wreck at the Busch Clash, with the eyes taped and all that. There's no way the dude would have been able to race in the modern. It's funny that he's in on the modern era. There's no way in the modern day era that dude would have been able to race in that scenario. Carl Edwards in as well. I like Carl Edwards, but I do have a little bit of an issue with that one. I think I'd put old Harry Gant in there. Handsome Harry Gant, the Skull Bandit, a dude that didn't get into the Cup Series until he was way in his 40s. Dude was a great late model racer. If you want to talk about late model racing, what has become now and the folks that we love, Harry Gant is one of those guys. Mr. What they call him, Mr. August, Mr. October, with all the wins right there. But it was one of those things, Mr. Second Place is what they called him for a long time. And that's where, once he finally punched that ticket, the Skull Bandit, driving for Burton Reynolds and Hal Needham, replacing Stan Barrett, the man that broke the sound barrier. How about that? Harry Gant needs to be in that hall. I think I would have put him in there ahead of Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards' time, yeah, it down the road, maybe, just not quite yet. And the Landmark Award, I think, is probably the most important one of them all. Dr. Dean, that's a man right there that really developed and did everything with the walls, with the new walls and everything right there. That is something that without that, we have lost a lot of racers over the years, but I think without that, without that invention, it would have been rough, really rough. So very deserved right there. Again, jump in, keep track. Hopefully Hickory gets done. I know it's maybe not the brightest forecast right now, but hopefully that's something that's going to get done this evening. Again, thank you all for being a part of this program. It's a thirsty Thursday. Clean air is good. Times like this, dirty air just a tad bit better. Subscribe to the show, Dirty Air Racing Show on Facebook. Be sure to check in on Racing America each and every Thursday. You guys enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. Find a short track near you. And if you can't find one, find a streamer that's going to give back to the racetrack and put you in that seat at home. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll see you next Thursday right here on Dirty Air.